another episode of Talk Fiber to Me Baby. We're here at Fiber Connect 2025. We have a pile of things to talk about, but the main event, Mr. Gary Bolton, the CEO, president of FBA, just stopped by the booth, and I asked him if he'd have a chat with us, and we're honored to have you here, brother.
Josh, it's such a pleasure, and congratulations to you and your company. You guys have really been doing a great job, and really,
Thank you.
really matters, the work that you guys have been doing. And
We're trying to get out there, and we're just happy to have associations to partner with, and really honestly follow in good faith. It's been a great journey looking at you guys and kind of y'all kind of guiding the rhetoric in the industry. Really, I mean, you guys are literally guiding an industry. You got 5,000 people here. Is this the biggest show? Did you expect it to be this big?
Well, we've grown every year for 5 straight years,
Mm-hmm.
and so we set a record every year. And what we want to make sure is we have measured growth.
Mm-hmm.
So and so we can kind of control that. On everybody's asking, well, why do you have 200 exhibitors that are on the waiting list to get in? It's like, well, because we have to have a certain balance of network operators and exhibitors, and we want to make sure that we create the best possible experience that anybody has of any broadband event in the world. And so, we keep investing in making our AV more impactful, having the quality of our speakers, the topics that we're trying to hit. So we just want to have everybody have a great time, a great experience, be well fed, but come home with a lot of great knowledge, and just make sure that their time is well used.
And tired. They're going to come home tired. There is so much to talk and so many people to see. We've had probably 10 people on the show thus far, and it seems like every person brings a new innovation and an electricity with them around our industry. I mean, everybody's fired up. When you walk through the halls of here, of this event, what gets you the most fired up? I mean, have you seen anything that you're like, I didn't even know that existed?
Well, everything is pretty amazing. Just little things like, I had Ron Bierman from Alta Fiber was one of the keynotes, and then followed by Susie Hayes, CEO of C-Spire.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron has been with Alta Fiber since 1992. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty amazing that you can be with the same company since 1992 and be so excited about what you're doing and with everything you're enabling. And I was mentioning that to Susie, and she goes, well, I've been with C-Spire since 1992. And so just the fact that, it's kind of like sharpening the axe, that we are getting to the point where we're really getting fiber out and being able to take the technology to the point where we're starting to really see kind of what fiber enables. And I think that's so exciting. And so just coming around the floor, this place is packed, and everybody's amped up. The other thing I thought was great was we kicked off yesterday morning with the CEO of the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Tennessee Titans can fill 100,000+ every Sunday on their stadium, and they walk out and see 5,000 people. And he's like, this outsider, not in our industry, coming there first look. He's like, you got 5,000 competitors all in the room working towards a common cause. He says, I can feel the special energy, and I feel it. And when you see outsiders can feel how special this is, kind of the magic that's happening here as everybody kind of works together to really elevate our industry and kind of accelerate this opportunity to connect every home and to elevate the quality of life for generations to come. It's just super exciting.
It is. There's been a lot of collaborations right here at this booth. I mean, it has been amazing how many ancillary technologies and people that's in our industry that's come by just EPC's booth along with Talk Fiber to Me Baby to tell their story. And after they get off, I'm like, man, how do we work together? And I think that's kind of the premise of this right here, because like you said, we're moving all towards a common goal. And you talked about connecting every house in America. Obviously, the big topic is BEAD. What's the latest in BEAD? What do you think is going to happen? Or if you can't say that, then what do you hope happens?
Well, I meet with every single state broadband offices. So many days I've have 3 meetings with, whether it's Hawaii, Alaska, Nebraska, Minnesota, and it's always the same call in that these guys have been working for the last 3+ years, some of them for like 10 years, on getting their state connected. And we are so close. We are like on the 5-yard line to putting this thing in the end zone. And, so they're frustrated because they don't want to start back from scratch. They've gotten this thing. They understand. So they've studied it. They understand where every unserved and underserved location is. They know the budget they have to work with. They know the topology, all the challenges in the state, and they know the families that they're trying to connect. And so I sent a letter to Secretary Ludnick on Friday and said, I trust that each broadband office can make the best use of this money and use the right technology to connect every single location in their state. And so I need you to have that same trust in these broadband directors.
Absolutely. And, I think they've, we're involved in a lot of different states as well. And looking at what Ludnick's looking for, Secretary Ludnick's looking for from the benefit of the bargain.
Yep.
I think that the math kind of goes with the fact that speed needs to be to beat. Broadband Breakfast is having that deal, I think, next week in D.C.
With Drew,
yeah. And I think that speed needs to be to beat simply because the math works in that favor. If every day that goes by that this thing doesn't get funded, the math changes because those fringe areas go away. I think there was a study done, like 57% of some of these areas that we've already identified as from what the New York study says was that they're going away. Well, the ironic thing is it doesn't make the last 43% any easier to get. It's just a different math.
Well, it's a hockey stick. So the way it works is you can, take of the unserved and underserved locations, you can cut it in half. That doesn't mean the cost gets cut in half.
That's right.
Right, because it's the hockey stick, and the last location to serve is probably 50% of the overall cost of the entire program, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so as we serve locations, because people don't start with the hardest, they start with the easiest and work their way down. But these families matter.
Oh, absolutely. These economies matter.
We'll just take West Virginia, for example. And West Virginia being able to deliver a final BEAD proposal that delivers fiber to every single location, every unserved and underserved location, nearly $200 million below budget.
Yeah.
And think about West Virginia. What state is in more need of economic development, of broadband connectivity, of access to healthcare, education? Why would you not just go ahead and move forward?
I completely agree. I believe this is a completely bipartisan issue. I think that it makes so much sense to bring economic stability to these smaller areas. Being from Louisiana, I'm a huge proponent of the success that Beneath and Thomas have had down there.
Absolutely.
And, being 96% fiber, 2% fixed wireless, 2% LEOs, $550 million under budget. Has there ever been a government program that said, we don't need that much money?
Well, of course, I'm a huge fan of Beneath and Thomas, and we actually, as we started our regional Fiber Connects, our first city we went to was Baton Rouge, because way back when, we said 4 years ago, we anticipated that Louisiana, cause I knew Beneath and the governor at the time, they were highly committed to being able to get this thing rolling. And so, they should be rewarded for getting their act together, getting to their final proposal, getting that final proposal approved, and we should have had shovels in the ground in January.
I was standing there.
Every day that goes by is government inefficiency, and it's not getting any cheaper, and it's, just part of my letter to Ludnick is not only the private investment, just wanted to remind the government that 10 times more CapEx is being spent out of the private investment from these companies to get the other 135 million connected. But also on the other half of our membership is on manufacturers, supply side. And so we have 47 member companies that are Build America, Buy America compliant. We've spent nearly $1 billion in expanding manufacturing, moving manufacturing to the U.S., and we've created 6,000 new manufacturing jobs. Well, if we're on pause,
what are those jobs doing? And I've had Lori on the show from Nokia, and she talked about what that took to get that stood up here stateside and running. And if this BEAD isn't going to go through, what are we going to do with all this BABA compliant? Because it was built at a higher margin. I mean, a lower margin or a higher cost. And so now are we even going? Is it going to be a fire sale? What are we
Yeah.
going to do? You know?
Well, that's the other challenge too, is all the different Made in America kind of programs. They're not all the same, and so like when you deal with a distributor or anybody that's doing deployment, uh, when you go to put in a pedestal or you go to put in a O&T or any kind of gear, and you're sitting on the truck, okay, is this USDA Buy America, or is this BEAD Buy, or is this RDOF?
Mhm.
And so all these enclosures look the same, but which
Is
one's
it
the
just
one that's...
certified or is it actually?
Yeah, so it gets really complex really quick. But I have high confidence in the administration. I mean, I think that when you look at our ability to lead the world in AI technology and kind of innovation, and where the administration wants to take us, and being able to, when you truly believe that they want to accelerate and streamline the program, I think that we are hopefully within days of something coming, getting some guidance
That would
and
be
be able
great.
to move forward. Because, I mean, when you have administration change, there's got to be some time for the new administration to understand and study the programs and be able to see where they make changes. But, we went from the infrastructure law our bill being signed into law to a BEAD NOFO. That happened by November, I think it was, I'm seeing May 13th, May 14th. We're in June, what is it, June 3rd?
Yes.
So you got to be able to do the revisions quicker than you set up 56 broadband offices,
Oh yeah.
hire all this staff, and create an entire NOFO.
Time is money.
Yeah.
And we're talking about efficiency, but I agree with you. You talked about you have faith in the administration. I do too. We were Trump supporters. I was at the inauguration, so not actually. They wouldn't let me in the building, but they let me outside. And so we are supporters of the administration. I think that the secretary said the other day, as far as Secretary of Health, Robert Kennedy was talking about that. He's like, oh, I want to put telehealth and AI metrics in all the rural health so that we can actually start taking pictures of our throat and use this other technology to do it. And so I think that when the cabinet members start talking to each other about what this is really going to mean for areas, I do have faith that that's their ultimate goal, is to streamline this and get it out.
Well, you bring up telehealth. So on the main stage today, the CEO of SaskTel, I don't know if you saw that, but she was talking about some of the really remote and rural areas of Saskatchewan, and being able to, if her video was on a pregnant woman in one of these remote areas, where we'd have to literally buy an airplane ticket, fly to a city to be able to get an ultrasound, and now they're able to use these remote ultrasounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't have to take 3 days off work. You be able to, use this remote technology. And, my doctors are here in Vanderbilt. I live in, up near Savannah.
Uh-huh.
And so I use remote telehealth. And it's kind of funny because when you go to a telehealth session, the first thing that comes across the screen is make sure that no one's playing video games, everybody's off the internet, you're the only one on the internet.
Yeah.
And it seems silly that you have to do all that stuff, but that's the world we live in until everybody gets fiber.
And everything else, yeah. I mean, we talked about what if, we hope, those type things. Let's do a little speculation. BEAD rolls out tomorrow. What does Fiber Connect 2026 look like?
Well, what's exciting about Fiber Connect is, and just our industry in general, is how, we have 1,450 employees from our member companies working on our working groups and committees. And so the number of best practices, research papers, advocacy is just growing and growing and growing. And so we're really excited about how we can draw more people into our industry, be able to really accelerate our ability to, because like for instance, permitting reform or being able to streamline. So being able to attack any of these things that are slowing us down, it's just, we got to get moving so that we can start seeing what's the next roadblock, next impediment, and keep working to take these, speed bumps out of our way and really get everybody connected.
Oh, I will do a little speculation. I will say that if BEAD rolls out in any capacity, that there are contractors and ISPs ready to rock and roll.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
And I think that not only will your membership just flourish, but I think just the technologies that are created through technology, just so many smart individuals in rural areas and in urban areas that just need a little more connectivity. I can't even imagine the ideas and the innovation that's going to come out of it. I'm pretty excited.
Well, let me just share a quick story.
Sure.
Um, so I went over to our Optic Path Rodeo. So we had our first Optic Path Rodeo this year at Fiber Connect, and so our Optic Path Fiber Optic Technician Training Program, we started with a cohort of 18 students. Now we're graduating about 1,000 students, and we're going to get up to 10,000. We got to get up to 75,000. So I was over there, and a young lady from Arkansas was there, and she said that she's been working with a homeless shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And a young lady named Jasmine Boyce, 25-year-old homeless girl, and they told her about fiber optic training, and the community college there in Arkansas had an Optic Path program, and so she's like, I want to do that, and so she was able to get into the program, was able to graduate, got a 96 on her final exam, and now she is fully employed as a fiber optic technician in one of the broadband co-ops in Arkansas.
That's great. And that's what $1 trillion industry will do for you if you got the right leadership and you're enabling people through innovation and training. And, I hope this continues to grow. I don't see this going away. This is not a bubble, as some people say, it's a tech bubble or whatever. I think that as we connect more people, more innovation will come, more need will come, and we'll just figure out what those are, like you said, and we'll get to that next hurdle. And so, man, we really appreciate you being on the show. Is there anything that you'd like to tell to the viewers today?
No, I just want to, well, first of all, thanks, Josh, you and your brother.
You're welcome.
I think you guys have a great story and what you've been able to accomplish. This is what we want. Your story is the story we want to see everybody have, is where just hard work and putting in some sweat equity to be able to build a business from the ground up, and then be able to really be on a national stage to say, hey, others can do this. We got to get moving and really build our industry. So thank you for everything you've been able to achieve.
It's an honor to be here, and honestly to just be able to speak up for the rural people that we represent all the time, and in our workforce, which we love dearly. This wouldn't be possible without our workforce, and we have training programs too, and they prop us up. So I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you saying that, brother.
I look forward to you and your team lighting it up in Louisiana.
Light it up. All right, that's it from Fiber Connect 2025. We appreciate y'all being with us and can't wait till next year. Thanks, guys.
All right.